I just wanted to say hello before we jump into this video. I'm super excited. I want to thank Jasem from Awesome Jasem for putting this collab together. I am so excited to be a part of this. It is Topsy Turvy Day, also known as the day after my sister's birthday. Well, Jasem asked a bunch of us people, oh my god, as I drool all over them. Jasem asked a bunch of us to be a part of this really awesome collab where we make something Hunchback and Hunchback and Notre Dame themed. So you can make it, you can do a makeup tutorial, you could do a dance, you could do whatever you want. He's like, you could even just sit there and eat your Cheetos and watch the movie, whatever you like. Let's do it and let's celebrate this underrated movie. So I do love, I am out of breath. I do love Hunchback of Notre Dame. I have like a love-hate, not like a hate, but it is really hard on me because of, I have two sisters with disabilities, so it does touch me in a different way. But my three favorite characters, actually my number one favorite character is Hugo, the gargoyle. He is my favorite. He is so funny, and I just love the gargoyles in general. So I made something inspired by that. You can kind of see a sneak peek down here. So let's go ahead and get into the video, and I can show you what I did, how I made the design. I mean, I didn't personally make the design, but you know, you'll see what I do. I'll give a little voiceover, step-by-step tutorial on what I was doing, and yeah, let's go to the video. Bye. Alrighty guys, so I found this image online and I went to png to svg.com and I made the image from an SVG into a PNG. Or no, from a PNG to an SVG. This image was one I was going to try to use originally, but I just could not get it to work. So what I then did is I went and I uploaded the image I made into an SVG, and when you do that, it formats this way. So that way you don't have to make your own layers or anything like that. It already formats it into that SVG layer for you. I do find when you do that you always want to go ahead and make a darker background one as well, instead of just using the normal black background that they provide you from the SVG. So I just go ahead and I upload the image again, and luckily for me, it already had the background that I needed. I didn't realize it at first, so you can see I go to do the clearing out of the background and nothing happens, and it's because it's already the background that you need it to be to get the shadow. So I'm going to choose the save as a cut image, and I'm going to complete there, and then I'm going to click on both of the ones that I want, and I'm going to go and insert my images. And then I'm going to separate the shadow image from the picture image after I size them to make sure that they're both going to be the same size that I'd like. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on each of the cuts and I'm going to contour it. When I go into contour it, it does take a second to load because there's so many little dots and stuff that you'll see, but you have to do this when you're changing a PNG to an SVG. So you're going to go in and you're going to hide all your contours. And then you're going to click on the ones you want. So you could either click this way, or I find it easier, and I do it through a little bit later, to just go ahead and click on the pictures that are on the side and just kind of watch and see what you're clicking on, and if it's one that you need to be on a darker gray in the picture or a lighter gray over there. So as you can see, I'm now just scrolling through and stopping and clicking on the ones that look like what I'm going to need to have this cut work out for me. And so after you do that, you can just exit out and you can already see that it is getting so much better. So I go through all the layers and I click on the ones that I'm going to need to make sure that it all works. Alrighty guys, so I lost the clip that I had on here, and I had showed you guys how I got these guys to be one color, as well as that I welded them together. Let me see if I can just go back a couple steps. Okay, so here what I did was, you can see there's two colors, so I moved each and every one of these colors to be the same color instead of the three separate colors. And then what I went and did to make sure that they all stayed together was I welded it, and that way I could just have it all as one color go. And then I also got the picture for Jolly, and how I made this was I went and I uploaded on here, and I had used this picture here. I always use complex as my option, and then at first what I started, actually now that I think about it, I can make this way easier. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just crop. This is not what I did. I erased around and made my life way harder than I needed to do. But so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to erase the parts that I don't need on here. Perfect. So then after I erase the parts that are not like a solid part, I go to the little wand thing and I change my advance. Oh, that's way too high for this picture, but I do boost it up a little bit, and then I go in deep and I just double click on everything, and this is going to give you the line look that you want. Be careful, because when you're on a higher level, it does chop away the picture more. And then just because we want to get these parts in here, you're just going to click on those tighter spaces and get those niches a little bit more. And if that happens, it's okay, you can just go back and just, okay. So what that tells me is that this is too high, so I'll lower it down some and hit right in there. So this is how I'm going to get it to give me more of the look that I want it to give me, and that I'm asking for. So after I do that, I do see a little spot, so what I'm going to do is make this tiny, and I'm just going to correct that spot there. And then you're going to just continue, and then see here, you're still missing things. So what I do then is I go back, and you can kind of see what you're missing. So I go back to my advanced options, and I just am going to scroll around those areas that were funky very carefully. Alright, and then you could always, before you go there, preview here. Sometimes this doesn't show it though, but this looks good to me, so I'm going to go ahead and continue now. And then you're going to click cut and save as image. I already did that, so as you can see here, it will then pop here. You'll click on it and then you'll insert the image. But since I already have it, I don't need to do that. So yeah, so then what I did is I went over to make it, and I brought it over here. And since we are making a clothing item, we want to mirror all of our things. And then you will continue. And I put my Cricut on custom so I can choose the material that I want, and I use everyday iron-on and more, and then I do always put it in fast mode. So that's just the computer side of everything that I did. I'm going to pop over the video over into now what it looks like when I'm loading and unloading the mats and weeding and ironing. So we'll go right over there. Now that you're ready to print onto your transfer vinyl, you are going to face the shiny side down. I'm very picky on putting my vinyl down to make sure it's as nice and even as I can. Once you get it on there, I do take my scraper and scrape down over it just to make sure there are no air bubbles left that I am unable to take out myself. You will then load and have it cut the vinyl for you. After you're done cutting it, you will flip it upside down and pull the sticky mat away from your vinyl, and then load your next one. And for this one, like I showed again, you do put sticky side down. I then made sure to have it even, and since I had extra of this one and I didn't want to have to cut it right away, what I then did is after I get it on to stick straight, it's a challenge sometimes, is I took 2 paper clips and just rolled up to where I needed it to be and paper clipped the rest of it to my mat. That way I'll know exactly how much I need to cut once it is done being printed on.
And then after I unloaded my mat, I went ahead and I cut to where the image was, so that way I was able to save as much as I possibly could with everything. I definitely recommend getting a cutter like this because it helps keep your paper straight and not have crazy lines happen to it. So I'm going to roll it out again for Jolly. And then on this one I could see where the picture was going to stop, so I just had the vinyl go to where I needed it to. Go ahead and unload your mat again, and I like to keep my mat protected right away, so I'll just go ahead and put the clear film back over it and hang my mat up so that way I don't have any Eevee hair getting anywhere. I'm going to go ahead and cut where I need to for this one, and then I will cut the excess on this side too, and I'll be able to use that part for small. And then I did have excess of the white vinyl as well, so I'm going to cut to where I need to, so that way I can save that part for scraps. I do use a headlamp. I asked for one for Christmas and I am so happy that I have it. The extra light really helps me see all the little cuts, and then I just use my weeding tool and weed away. I will say that heat transfer vinyl is a lot easier to weed than normal vinyl, but you still want to be careful. I know I probably look like I'm going at it really rough, but this is just in fast mode as well. And I was just pulling apart the parts I knew I was doing before I got to the image. And as you can see here, I go in a little bit more detail to help pull up those other pieces. If they break apart, it's okay because you can just go ahead and take your weeding tool in there and weed out what you need. You guys might think it's really silly that I'm wearing a headlamp, but this is the best thing I could have ever asked for Christmas because it really helps me see the lines that I need to weed out and what lines are part of the actual picture. So I 10 out of 10 recommend getting a headlamp if you are somebody who does Cricut stuff because it really helps. I cut the tags off my shirts because I am just super sensitive skin, but then I go ahead and lay it on my ironing board and take a lint roller to get any little fuzzies off of it. I then make sure the shirt is as even to the center as it possibly can be, and I go ahead and put my first layer on. When putting your first layer on, you want to really take your time to make sure it's centered where you are. I did walk around all of the table to really get the best angle and make sure it was where it needed to be. You're then going to take parchment paper or parchment paper and you're going to lay it over the top of your vinyl, and you're going to iron, or you're going to get a Cricut press on it, which I just found out I'm getting a Cricut press and I'm super excited about. So ironing, no more. The Cricut press definitely does make it easier than an iron does. It's just one smooth press and it has a little timer and everything. So I'm super excited for that. After that, you're going to let it cool for a little bit, and then you're going to go ahead and peel. And be very careful because you can see at the end I got too excited and it popped up a little bit, but that's okay. I was able to lay it back down and put the paper back over it to iron down even more. After I did the first layer, I went ahead and layered on the other one, and I was just showing my love for my man Hugo. You know, I love those chubby characters, guys. You put the paper down again, and the reason I did the little hand thing, you'll see at the end. I will say it's not normal how bright you can see that picture going through. It looks way different in person, and it's one of my favorite kind of vinyls to put on anything. And then for the sleeve, we do the same thing, and please don't mind my ironing board. When making ears, I made my vinyl a little bit too big. So we're going to repeat the same step with this one. With the lines being so thin, it was really hard for me to get this one to stick up first. And what I found with some vinyls is if the vinyl is too hot, it just won't peel up correctly. So as you can see, when I first tried to pull up the first time, it wasn't stuck all the way down. So what I had to do is I had to let it sit for a little bit and then pull the vinyl up so that way it stuck to the thing. And there we go, a nice clean pull for our little drawing of Jolly.
Okay guys, so this is how the sweater turned out. So I used, I went to Walmart. These are like $7 and they're Fruit of the Loom and they're so comfy. And I like to have oversized things. Sorry, I'm super far away, so I hope you guys can hear me. I like oversized stuff, so I got this in a large, so that way my little fingies can be like this. But yeah, so this is the shirt. It has the 3 gargoyles on it. I'm on my tippy toes right now because the ring light's really high. But yeah, so I have the 3 gargoyles on it, my fave, and then of course I had to add, so originally, let me go back a little bit. I really wanted to make this Hugo dressed up as Esmeralda because I love that scene so much, but I couldn't find a good picture to be able to turn into an SVG, so I went with this one instead because I still love the guy so much. So to be able to throw a little extra contribution to my favorite gargoyle, I added his own personal drawing of Jolly on my sleeve. And so Jolly's just hanging out on the sleeve over here, and he's just so cute. And yeah, so this is the hoodie, but wait, and I guess it's not a hoodie, it's a sweater, but wait, just wait. Guys, we glow in the dark, because what's better than your favorite things on a sweater than making it glow in the dark? So I have some glow in the dark transfer heat vinyl, and yeah, this is how it looks when it's nighttime, and I'm so excited about it. I was gonna make Jolly glow in the dark too, but I just, I used the wrong vinyl. I got too ahead of myself. So this is the outcome of it. And yeah, make sure to go check out everyone else's videos and tell me who your favorite character is from Hunchback of Notre Dame. There's a lot of great YouTubers in this, so make sure to go give love to everybody. And thank you again, Jasem, for putting this collab together. It was so fun. I love that it wasn't like everyone had to make the same thing. It was just a bunch of creative people coming together to be creative and celebrating a great movie. So have a great Topsy Turvy day, guys. Bye.